new tokens, new alpha, new altcoins that could 100x? What about projects that have not yet launched? I will give you 14 projects that I am excited for. 14 projects that I think have the potential to 100x. A good chance most of these projects will have airdrops. And some of the projects in the past have had airdrops worth tens of thousands of dollars. Anybody can tell you a list of coins that they're investing in, but how do you manage risk? How do you not get wrecked? How do you get the 100x? And how do you diversify your portfolio? I'll cover that. This will be generational wealth we're building. Generational wealth we're giving you as pure alpha. These are projects, in my opinion, that will be in the top 100 market cap when it's all said and done. And there is a confirmed airdrop for this project. And this reminds me of Chainlink. I'm feeling Chainlink vibes with this. Anybody who joins can get 5% points towards their airdrop or the points program. Just use the code Diary of Made Man, nice and simple, to get 5% off. I think this cycle alone, you should make over 6 figures in airdrops. Yes, more than $100,000 in airdrops if you're listening to our research. This is a very deeply technical project. The average coin in this project does a 62x return on investment at the all-time high. This is a project we made less than 4 days ago. This is literally a new investment in our portfolio. But this, when I go through it, you understand why it'd be like this and why it's already number 4 on this list. And if you're bullish in AI, add this to your AI project list or watch list. And dare I say it, you know what? I'm going to say it. What's the vibe like? What does this remind me of? If we go back last cycle, if we go back in time, what L1 did really well. That kind of came out of nowhere. What is the vibe like? It has vibes like one of its competitors. This is giving me Solana vibes. Solana did a 1000x return. Think about that. If you got in early ventures or even early on the CoinList sale, it did at least 250x return if you got in early. And venture investors made 1000x, some even 6000x return on their money. And I know it seems pretty high up there, but I'm getting Solana vibes with this project. I think this is the next Solana for this cycle. But each cycle, investors, people want new, shiny projects, right? Old projects rarely pump, as we say, to put it blunt. It's always new projects. People want the new, shiny, sexy L1. Kind of like Solana last cycle or the Ethereum killer. Well, this, you could say, is competing with Solana. And that's why I'm getting Solana vibes. Last but not least, the number 1 project on this list. Hey, Tokenmetrics family. Welcome back. I'm Ian Balina, and I have quite the alpha for you. One of our last videos, 15 coins to make you millions, has blown up, has over 250,000 views. And you guys have been asking for new tokens, new alpha, new altcoins that could 100x. And I said, okay, you know what? I've already covered projects that were trading in the market. But what about projects that have not yet launched? What are some projects that I love, that I have put my money where my mouth is and actually invested in, whether personally or through our fund, Tokenmetrics Ventures? Well, guess what? I have gone through our portfolio of projects. We've invested in over 30 different blockchain projects, and I'm picking 14 projects. Yes, this is tough. It's like picking a favorite kid, but I have picked 14 projects that I think have the potential to 100x. These are projects that, when it's all said and done, a good portion of the projects on this list will be in the top 100 market cap. Now, obviously, these are private projects, haven't yet launched yet, so your cost basis or entry if you buy this on exchanges will be different. A good chance most of these projects will have airdrops. And some of the projects in the past have had airdrops worth tens of thousands of dollars. So let's get into it. We're going to share alpha for this cycle. Products that nobody is really covering on the radar. I'm not going to repeat or show you some products somebody's already covered on crypto Twitter or on YouTube. I'm getting you straight alpha from our fund. One of these projects is an AI project that nobody has even covered yet. We just made an investment in this project last week, less than 4 days ago. This is straight pure alpha. Let's get into it. So I'll do a quick recap on the agenda. I'll go through why we're going to have the longest crypto bull run ever and why this will lead to the biggest altcoin season ever. People will be printing money. Then I'll tell you the criteria I used to go through our actual fund investments and why I think these are the 14 projects you should pay attention to and why you should listen to Tokenmetrics. Anybody can open a YouTube channel, show their bags, but why should you listen to Tokenmetrics? Because we've been around for a while and we give you pure alpha and how to manage the risk. Anybody can tell you a list of coins that they're investing in, but how do you manage risk? How do you not get wrecked? How do you get the 100x? And how do you diversify your portfolio? I'll cover that. And then I will give you the list. Not holding back, pure alpha, not financial advice, of course, but 14 100x altcoins that are not trading yet. Whether you want to fund these for the airdrop or whether you want to buy these on exchanges or even invest in some of these projects that they're still raising, I will give you 14 projects that I am excited for. All right, so quick intro on myself. I'm Ian Balina, founder and CEO of Tokenmetrics, also general partner at Tokenmetrics Ventures. I've been in crypto since 2016, also the author of the Crypto Investing Guide. Been in tech for a while, IBM, Deloitte, background as a computer engineer. But enough about me. Let's hop into and do a quick recap for the newbies here, those who are joining the channel or the podcast, why this is going to be the longest crypto bull run ever. Historically, the returns and gains in Bitcoin decrease every halving, every cycle. But the length it takes for Bitcoin to go up lasts longer. On average, 25% longer. And we predict Bitcoin is probably going to go to 140, 150K at the peak of this cycle. It's a very conservative estimate. Some people think it's going to 500,000 or 1 million. We like to kind of play it even keel. But what we think this will lead to is the largest altcoin season ever. Right now, crypto is slightly over 2 trillion total market cap. We think as a base case, it's going to 10 trillion and maybe even higher, maybe even 14 trillion total market cap. So that's a 5 to 7x where we currently are. That is a lot of capital. And if we're investing, if you're using our research, imagine if the altcoin season goes all the way until 2026. Imagine the gains we've had now, pre-halving. Post-halving is when the real party begins. And if that party lasts up until 2026, this will be generational wealth we're building. Generational wealth we're giving you as pure alpha. But why should you listen to Tokenmetrics? Well, just this year alone, our fund invested in GameSwift. This has done over a 65x this year alone. We invested when it was 12.5 million market cap or valuation, FDV, and now it's over 800 million. And we share this with our research with our customers, and they got in via the Launchpad on Bybit and SpartaDex. This is the whole point of why I launched Tokenmetrics, to give people alpha, because we can invest, but we also want to share the research. So even the retail was able to get into this project, not just VCs. And guess what? A recent project we invested in, Pixels, has done over a 60x. The thing I like about this the most, it's a gaming, play-to-earn game. Their airdrop was over 10K to some players. So people who heard about Pixels through our research at research.tokenmetrics.com were able to play the game and earn a lot of money. Imagine if you're flipping these projects, earning 10K a pop on airdrops or even more. I think this cycle alone, you should make over 6 figures in airdrops. Yes, more than $100,000 in airdrops if you're listening to our research. If you're getting projects on the hidden gems, getting projects on our code reviews, or the projects I'm telling you on this list, and you get in early, you can make over 6 figures just in the airdrops. If you hold those airdrops up until the top of the cycle, let's say 2026, spring to fall, if I'm conservative, maybe fall 2025. But either way, the projects on this list and on our research, you should earn, not financial advice, but I think 6 figures in airdrops. In the past, we were early in Polygon. This is a review from our customer who made a lot of money on Polygon. This customer said, would never have picked up Matic, Polygon, if it wasn't for you. One of my biggest percent wins. Wanted to get 500,000, but only got 80K, as it was only on wacky exchanges. Amazing how that 80K is nearly $10 million now. Think about that. And we were early in Helium Network. This is me traveling to their offices a year before they launched. Well, guess what? I'm finding those same projects, the Polygon of back in the day, the Heliums of back in the day, and they are on this list. At the same way we were traveling the world, we met Polygon in India, we met Helium in San Francisco. These are 14 projects we have talked to. Now everything's remote with Zoom. Some we met in person, but I'm giving you the list. What I think could be the next Polygons, the next Heliums. I am not holding back. This is why you should listen to Tokenmetrics. We're giving you pure alpha, and you can always go back and check the tape, check the receipts. Everything is on chain. It's on the blockchain. Our alpha is on the blockchain. All right, how did I select this criteria? So our fund has invested in over 30 projects. These are early stage venture projects that have not yet launched. So I've gone through and looked at the projects that had a tech grade or code review score over 80%, or they had fundamental score higher than 75%, or if they're a project that was very, very early, like pre-stage, where it was too early to do any kind of review, they're projects that we think have a good team and have the likelihood of doing a 100x from our entry, the entry of the fund. I'm a general partner at the fund, and I've personally invested my own capital in the fund. So these are projects I'm invested in. And these are projects that probably will do an airdrop. Some have confirmed airdrops, but some most likely will do an airdrop, because airdrop is where it's at. And I said you can make 6 figures this cycle purely in airdrops. And these are projects that have long-term staying power. These are projects, in my opinion, that will be in the top 100 market cap when it's all said and done. Here at Tokenmetrics, we don't like looking at pump and dump projects like other YouTubers that will not be named. We like finding projects that are still around, like Helium and Polygon. They're still in the top 100 market cap. Despite going through the altcoin cycle, coming back down, they have bounced back. This is the quality of our research. We like to find projects with long-term staying power, and the ones on this list, out of all the projects we've invested in, I think have long-term staying power. and the potential to enter the top 100 market cap. And as always, you can see our full list of venture portfolio investments as they're updated by going to ventures.tokenmetrics.com/portfolio. This gets updated about every few weeks. But guess what? One of the projects on here is not even on that portfolio list yet. As I mentioned, we made the investment 4 days ago. I'm giving you pure alpha here because I want to share all this with the world. And it's an AI project, so stay tuned. All right, but before we go into the list, let's first manage risk with these gems. These are Token Metrics Ventures investments. Just want to disclose that if it's not been disclosed before. Right? So if you buy these on exchanges, you will have a different cost basis and a different risk profile compared to us. These projects have yet to launch. So they're very high risk, but at the same time, high reward. And not all of these projects may enter the top 100 market cap, but I think a good portion will. In terms of this list, I would not be surprised if a third of these projects at the peak of the bull run are in the top 100, maybe even more. And the way I would manage this is do not invest more than 5% of your portfolio into any of these gems. The way we invest with our fund, TMV, is we only put in max 1% of our portfolio into an early stage project. If we're doing 30 projects, that 1% adds up to 30% of the fund will be in those projects. And obviously, as they launch, then we'll begin to kind of scale back. But we never put more than a third of our portfolio for the fund into illiquid assets. And as usual, not financial advice. You can go to tokenmetrics.com/disclosures and our venture portfolio to view everything. All right, let's hop into it. The first project on this list. Now, this is all in ascending order. So beginning with the ones with the lowest rating, all the way to the ones with the highest rating. Gravity, also called GRVT. What is Gravity? Gravity, or GRVT, is a next-gen hybrid ZK Sync crypto exchange that's bringing CeFi and DeFi to make it easy to trade. And it's self-custody with low fees. There's no tech score for this because it's not open source. But the key narratives here, ZK Sync, which is about to launch, DeFi, and DEXs. Its competitor, DYDX, GMX, and Dolomite. Why do we like this project? It is backed by a great list of market makers from Asia and OTC desks. So think QCP, Susquehanna Group, Delphi Digital. So they have a lot of institutional backing. What is the vibe? So I want to introduce this new category, vibes, because sometimes it's very hard to sum up a project in just one word. So what I'm trying to do is go back to past cycles and try to find a project this reminds me of. What's the vibe like? It does not mean it's exactly like that project. It could be even in a completely different category or sector. But what's the vibe like? So the vibe of this reminds me of GMX from last cycle. I think this is a similar project. And there is a confirmed airdrop for this project. And this airdrop farming has blown up. I think they've been getting a lot of impressions, a lot of referrals purely through the airdrop. Just go to the website, sign up, and from just sharing this project, you can possibly earn an airdrop. That's the first project on this list. Number 14, Gravity. Up next, Nillion. Nillion is a very technical project. It's basically building a blind computer for decentralized trust, where you can share secure data, storage, and privacy for AI, DePIN, and IoT applications. When we invested, it was very, very early stage, but very deeply technical project. The key narratives here, compute, privacy, AI, and DePIN. Its competitors, you could kind of say Chainlink, Render, Ocean, and Marlin. Why do we like it? Very technical team. And this is a very deep tech infrastructure project. And the vibes, this project reminds me of Chainlink. And for those who don't know, I was an early investor in Chainlink. I was in the private sale back in 2017. And this reminds me of Chainlink. I'm feeling Chainlink vibes with this. Now, I did not hold Chainlink forever, unfortunately, during the bear. But out of any project, this reminds me of a Chainlink vibe. And there's a possible airdrop. And they have a pretty good ecosystem. They have lots of projects that are already building on Nillion. So keep an eye out on this project. Number 13. Up next, My Pet Hooligan. This is a gaming project. This was our first gaming project investment. And My Pet Hooligan is basically a blockchain game where you can adopt and train digital pets in an interactive world. So players engage in different activities from fighting, gaming, and all that stuff. Fundamental score, 77%. Narrative here, gaming. That's obvious. Its competitors, Axie Infinity, Pixels. Why we like it? They have more than 60 million in NFT sales before launching their game, right? If you go to OpenSea or any NFT platform, they've had 57 million as of now NFT sales. So they already have traction. They already have a community. And there's a probable airdrop. And the vibes with this project, Axie Infinity. I'm getting Axie Infinity vibes. Now, that does not mean it's the next Axie Infinity, but I think it's comparable and has the potential to maybe compete with it like Axie did well last cycle. Up next, Parcel. Parcel is one of my favorite projects. This is a platform for trading real estate market values using city indexes. So in essence, it's creating a derivatives market for real estate indices. You can invest in different cities, basically go long, short on different markets, whether it's Austin, Texas, or New York, or what have you. Fundamental score, 77%. Narratives here, Solana, RWA, real world assets, and derivatives. And the competitors, synthetics, although it's kind of different, but kind of similar, Propy and Homebase. Why we like it? Very unique project that I think will survive bear markets. The same way synthetics did well in a bear market. This, if people are looking to take profits, going to other asset classes like real estate, this gives them a on-ramp to invest in real estate, to trade real estate, whether long or short, without actually buying any real estate assets. Very, very good product, worth keeping an eye on. What's the vibe? Rarely do I say this, but this is giving me Helium Network vibes. Yes, Helium Network vibes. This was a very competitive project for us to invest in with the fund. We got in one of our larger investments, and we are bullish on this. I mean, and there's a confirmed airdrop for this. Our fund is already in the top 1% of just adding liquidity. Very bullish on this project. Even me, myself, I personally added liquidity. If you want to join this, anybody who joins can get 5% points towards their airdrop or the points program. Just use the code Diary of Made Man, nice and simple, to get 5% off. But very bullish on this project. Rarely do I say this, but this is giving me Helium vibes in the sense that Helium was a product that launched with a real use case. That's why it survived the bear market. Sharing internet and getting points for that. Getting your hotspot or buying the hotspot and sharing that. Parcel reminds me of the same way. It has a real use case. Anybody who's not in crypto can understand this. Oh, I can go long and short on real estate markets. Oh, that's interesting. And it's all on chain. This has long-term staying power. Up next, Nibiru. Nibiru is a proof-of-stake blockchain powering dApps. Think DeFi, real-world assets. It's basically a layer 1 for Cosmos, and it's competing with lots of projects. But tech score, 81%. The key narratives here, Cosmos and layer 1s. The competitors here, Solana, Say, Injective, Neutron, Archway. So it's a long list of competitors. The space is crowded. But why do we like this? Well, if you look at its competitors, it's better than Neutron. Neutron got a code review score, or tech score of 77%. It has currently an FDV of 1.5 billion. Nibiru, tech score of 81%. We invested over a year ago, but we shared this with our customers. They had a coinless sale where our customers and retail could get in. That was actually at a lower valuation than we had it. It was basically down round at about 75 million valuation. Well, guess what? It's about to launch soon. Could launch within a week, maybe even prior to this video or next month. But when it launches, the market will reprice it from 75 million FDV to somewhere close to Neutron, maybe even higher. The average coin in this project does a 62x return on investment at the all-time high. So if you take that with this project, we think it is destined to have a higher valuation than Neutron, at least. What's the vibe? The vibe for this, in essence, Injective vibes. We were early in Injective, one of our favorite projects. We covered it. Injective was basically an L1 for DeFi, kind of like Say Network. So you could say Nibiru is doing the same thing as like the Solana or Say or Injective for Cosmos, right? But Injective is already a Cosmos project, so that's why I think it's more of that vibe. This is basically like getting into the next Injective. And there's a confirmed airdrop. And they have a pretty good ecosystem, but in terms of the vibes, Injective vibes. Up next, another gaming project, Ready or Ready GG, also called Ready Games Network. And it's a Web3 gaming ecosystem that's creating tools to onboard Web2 games into Web3, right? So it's an infrastructure project with an SDK that allows anybody to take a game and make it Web3, adding Web3 components to it. Tech score, 81%. Big narratives here. Gaming and omni-chain, because it's blockchain agnostic. Competitors, you could say GameSwift, Immutable X in a way. Why we like it? They have a great business development team and ecosystem. And they're onboarding different gaming studios very, very rapidly. In a way, you could say they're kind of like Polygon, how Polygon had a great biz dev team. The vibes here from last cycle or in the past, Immutable X vibe. Airdrop, probable. So worth checking this out. This is on the radar. They have yet to really launch, but worth keeping an eye on this as a gaming project. Up next, a very interesting project, Dolomite. Dolomite, in essence, is combining all the strengths of a DEX and the lending protocol into a capital-efficient modular protocol built on an L2, built on Arbitrum. Tech score, 85%. The big narratives here, DeFi, derivatives, and modular. Its competitors, think DYDX, Synthetics, GMX. Why we like it? It's capital-efficient DEX and lending protocol. They have great backers. Coinbase Ventures invested in them as well in the same round. What's the vibe? DYDX vibes. And probably will have an airdrop. But, I mean, this is a very technical project worth keeping an eye on. Bringing DEXs and lending and making it modular on an L2. Very, very interesting project. Their TVL is growing already. They haven't launched yet in terms of the token, but this is worth keeping an eye on. Up next, Movement, another modular project. It's basically building a modular blockchain network for the Move language. It's taking the Move for Imagine Aptos Suite, that VM, and making it available on other L2s. So imagine Move developers being able to code or run Move apps on Ethereum or on Avalanche, on other blockchains. That's the long-term vision of Move. Tech score, 85%. The big narratives here. If you're bullish Aptos Sui, this is in that ecosystem and probably the best project out there that I've come across in that ecosystem. And it also fits some narratives for modular, rollups, and ZK. Competitors, think Eclipse. Eclipse Builders is basically an EVM for running Solana apps on Ethereum, or think in a way kind of Arbitrum optimism in terms of rollups. Why we like it is a Move-based ZK layer 2 on Ethereum. What's the vibe? The vibe here, although kind of different, Stacks. Stacks was an L2 on Bitcoin. We covered this a while back, a long time ago, and Stacks has done well. Stacks, as of right now, is in a top 25 market cap. So it's a project with long-term staying power. We covered it a while back, had a code review score over 90%, I believe. I think 92%. But the vibes here I'm getting in the same, like how Stacks was an L2 on Bitcoin, this is a Move-based ZK L2 on Ethereum. So I'm getting Stacks vibes. Airdrop, probable, but definitely keep an eye on this. Fits the modular narrative, the Aptos Sui narrative in terms of Move and rollups, and some ZK. All right, up next, another ZK project. Big narrative for this cycle. Ola. This is a ZK virtual machine that brings secure private computations using ZK knowledge. So this is basically a rollup. Tech score, 87%. Big narratives here, ZK rollups and privacy. Its competitors, think Elio, Aztec, and Ten, formerly known as Obscuro. Why we like it? Strong team. The team is formerly from Qtum. So if you like Qtum, that was a top 50 market cap project at one point. So pretty strong team. The vibes here. I'm going out in left field and getting a project kind of off the radar that did well last cycle, Phantom. Although not similar, the vibes here, just through a gut feeling, Phantom. Airdrop, probable, but they have begun their airdrop points program. So worth keeping an eye on this project. And this is how it kind of compares with other projects. Up next, one of our recent investments. We made this investment less than a month ago. Lurk. This is a very deeply technical project. Right? They're building a ZK compute platform with a specialized language for developing private applications that are formally verifiable. Think about that. ZK, where you can verify the applications. Tech score, deeply technical project, 87%. So it's legit tech. The big narrative here, ZK compute. Its competitors, although not kind of the same, but different, Cardano, because Cardano is basically a blockchain where it's formally verified as well. And Risk Zero and Polyhedra are probably more direct competitors because they're also ZK compute platforms. Why we like it? It's formally verifiable ZK platform. What's the vibe here? Dare I say this, although not similar projects, but I think kind of similar founders, Cardano vibes. If you guys see the founder of Lurk, he kind of looks like Charles Hoskinson, has the glasses, has the big beard. And this is a project that's trying to basically formally verify ZK proofs in the same way Cardano is building an L1 with formal verification built in. So that's why I call this is pretty easy, Cardano vibe. Now, I'm not saying this is the next Cardano, but it has similar vibes. And probable airdrop. And this is basically how it compares. They have their own language, Lurk Lang, and how they compare to other ZK projects out there. Worth keeping an eye on this project. Very technical project. Cardano vibes. Founder even kind of has Charles Hoskinson vibes. Up next, Nimble. This is a project we made less than 4 days ago. This is literally a new investment in our portfolio. But this, when I go through it, you understand why we like this a lot and why it's already number 4 on this list. Nimble is an AI project, and we know AI is going to be big, very big this cycle. And it is, in a way, competing with BitTensor, with Tau, a project we've covered in the past. But basically, they're trying to democratize AI by allowing decentralized composable AI models and data for developers. Tech score, 87%. Big narrative here, AI. We didn't really have an AI project in our portfolio with the fund, but this is the first big AI investment. We're very bullish on this project. Its competitors, you could say BitTensor and Fetch. So here we have an image that's comparing the inference generation of BitTensor versus Nimble. Nimble wants to be more decentralized, so worth keeping an eye on this project. Why we like it? Strong team. Engineers from Google, Facebook, Apple, I believe even Uber, that have done ML at these companies. Like ML engineers at Apple for like 5 years. Very technical team. What's the vibe? Kind of a different project. This is the vibe I'm getting. I'm getting Render network vibes. Like how Render kind of became the big AI project for GPU compute. I think Nimble really has a strong chance to compete with BitTensor, Fetch, I think for sure. Right now, BitTensor or Tau is a top 30 market cap project. It is king of the hill in terms of AI. Now, I'm not saying Nimble is going to surpass Tau. Tau had a code review score of 90%. So tech-wise, Tau is still in the lead. But Nimble, I mean, for a project that hasn't yet that has yet to launch, it's pretty close up there. So definitely worth keeping an eye on this project. Probably will have an airdrop, but this is worth keeping an eye on. If you're bullish on AI, add this to your AI project list or watch list. Up next, 10, formerly Obscuro. This is a layer 2 rollup, hybrid rollup, that's encrypting Ethereum. Basically, this is competing with Aztec, with Alio, tech score 89%, narratives here, rollups, and privacy. And as mentioned, competes with Aztec, Alio, even Ola, Secret Network, Railgun. Why we like it? Smart team from R3 Coda, kind of an enterprise blockchain company. So the vibes I'm getting from this Algorand was kind of similar, very technical team, academics that had a lot of enterprise backing. And Algorand has become a top 50 market cap project. Airdrop has been confirmed for this, and they plan to launch in Q2. So there's still time. There's still time to get involved in this project. Up next, a project that's not really covered much. This is a flyer, but we like it. Dojima Network. Dojima is building an omni-chain layer 1 platform for everything, for Web3, DeFi, NFTs, gaming, but it's connecting several blockchains together, from the Cosmos ecosystem to Ethereum, Solana, Bitcoin, Arweave. Tech score, 89%. Big narratives here, omni-chain. Its competitors, you could say Zeta Chain, Polkadot, Cosmos. We like Zeta Chain. I personally have some in my portfolio. And also Polkadot Cosmos competitors. Why we like it? It's very under the radar. Omni-chain layer 1. Not many people have really covered this project. As a result, I'm getting Polygon vibes. The team is also from India, based in India. So that's partly why it's kind of under the radar. But in the same way how Polygon was under the radar with the team from India before it blew up on our pitch competition back in 2017, this is kind of giving me the same vibes, Polygon vibes. Airdrop has been confirmed. So definitely keep an eye on this project. They have a very big vision of going omni-chain, connecting lots of other blockchains. But our blockchain engineers love this project. That's why it's on the radar. That's why we invested. Last but not least, the number 1 project on this list, Peak. Peak is a blockchain platform, basically an L1 for real-world applications. It's an L1 for DePIN. You know how bullish I am on DePIN. Helium Network to Hivemapper to Demo, and guess what? This is an L1 for all those projects, right? For anybody building DePIN applications in the future. Tech score, 89%. Narratives, DePIN, Layer 1, competitors, Solana, IoTex. Why we like it? They have a booming ecosystem. This is not just some L2 rollup on Ethereum. This is a legit project with legit ecosystem and legit companies building on this. One of the projects building on this, Silencio, we covered, made our hidden gems list. And they raised, I believe, about $1 million. So it's not just people forking projects and running this. People are building actual DePIN applications on this L1. Whether the Tesla machines, whether it's Sony, Bosch, Jaguar, like there are legit projects in their ecosystem using Peak. And dare I say it? You know what? I'm going to say it. What's the vibe like? What does this remind me of? If we go back last cycle, if we go back in time, what L1 did really, really, really well, that kind of came out of nowhere. What is the vibe like? It has vibes like one of its competitors. This is giving me Solana vibes. Solana did 1,000x return. Think about that. If you got in early ventures or even early on the CoinList sale, it did at least 250x return if you got in early. And venture investors made 1,000x, some even 6,000x return on their money. And I know it seems pretty high up there, but I'm getting Solana vibes with this project. I think this is the next Solana for this cycle, because DePIN is going to be a huge narrative, and they're already one of the premier leaders. They're right there behind Solana, and guess what? There is a confirmed airdrop. So it's not too late to get in. There's a confirmed airdrop, and they haven't launched yet in terms of the token. There's a testnet token called Crest that's already trading at over $100 million market cap, and there'll be an airdrop for those holders as well. But this is number 1 on the list for a reason. And look at this. Anybody who wants to build a DePIN application, this L1 gives you this entire stack right out the gate, right? So it's basically built on Polkadot. Then you have Layer 0 blockchain is Polkadot. They're built on top of that. You have Peak, and they abstract all this by giving you all these functions, all these toolkits, all these interfaces, so you can just build your app. This is why lots of projects are gravitating to their ecosystem. This is a project you have to look at. Not financial advice, but I will not be surprised if Peak becomes a top 20 market cap project at the peak of the bull run. I'm calling it now. I'm calling Glass. I'm calling Bank. The same way I called Polygon and Helium. Peak is going to be a top 20 market cap project. Out of all this list, I put it number 1 for a reason. It's a unique project, not much competition. Its only competitor is really Solana and IoTex. The biz dev, the project's building on this. It's a thriving ecosystem and has yet to launch with a confirmed airdrop. So if you're bullish on DePIN for the future, this is the go-to L1 project. The reason why we have this higher than IoTex good projects, scored over 80% on tech. But as we know, this is a high tech project, 89%. But each cycle, investors, people want new, shiny projects, right? Old projects rarely pump, as we say, to put it blunt. It's always new projects. People want the new, shiny, sexy L1, right? Kind of like Solana last cycle or the Ethereum killer. Well, this, you could say, is competing with Solana. And that's why I'm getting Solana vibes. Solana has Helium, Helium Mobile, HiveMapper. But guess what? Peak is coming. Peak is on the run. Peak has great tech and great biz dev with a thriving ecosystem, with a confirmed airdrop. That's why it's number one on this list. And that's why I believe when it's all said and done, this can be a top 20 market cap project. All right. That was a lot of pure alpha. I hope you liked it. Let us know what you think down below in the comments. If you want to get more alpha like this, definitely make sure you subscribe to Token Metrics. I don't know what you're doing, but we're giving you pure alpha from our hidden gems with products like GameSwift, Pixels, our code reviews, our webinar where I go through projects like this for an hour, hour and a half, answer questions, Q&A, doing an AMA. But sign up for Token Metrics. We have free accounts available. You can also get a paid account with 25% off by using the coupon code 100X. Nice and simple, because that's what it's all about, getting that 100X return. And follow us on YouTube. We also have a Clips channel, youtube.com/@tokenmetricsclips or youtube.com/tokenmetrics. And we have a podcast. Take this alpha on the go with you. Whether you're on the run, you're driving in the car, wherever you're going, listen to us on audio. Tokenmetrics.com/podcasts. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and get the book. If you're brand new to investing, get our book, Crypto Investing Guide. It's available on Amazon and Audible. We're giving you all the alpha you need to make generational wealth this cycle. So these are 14 projects that the fund has invested in. I have exposure to. We've made over 30 investments, but these are the ones I've gone through and try to pick the ones I think can enter the top 100 market cap, some even top 20 like Peak. So with that being said, this is now officially on the blockchain. We can come back here in 2 years and see how well we did. But guess what? We have a good track record and we're not shy to tell you what products we think will do well. As usual, manage your risk, not financial advice, but let's go out there and make a lot of money. Let's make generational wealth. And as we like to say, the moon is not the limit to the moon and beyond. Thank you, Token Metrics family. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, we have even more content for you at Token Metrics. Get there using the link down below.